This is John Howell Essential Cuts, your daily rundown of the best from today's show on 890 WLS.
We started talking about how to relax, and we got into a conversation regarding who gets massages. And Kim, in the newsroom, she gets massages regularly. My wife does as well. My sister-in-law does. My daughter does. I don't. My son doesn't. But I know of a man. His name is John Lewis. He's in the Massage Therapy Hall of Fame. He's a former White Sox massage therapist, and he was around during 2005.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmeiro over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Juan Uribe with a play, charging it, throwing it, and the White Sox celebrate their first title in 88 years.
So the sign of a good executive producer in my business is you start talking about a subject, and within 10 minutes, you have an expert on the air. Let's welcome John Lewis to Double Dales. John, how are you, sir?
John, how are you?
I'm doing well. I would imagine my wife is in Winnetka often. I mean, she may be a client of yours. You're,
John?
Yes? Can you hear me? Oh, I don't think you can hear me. You got me now? All right, I think we have you now. John, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you, John?
I'm well. Thanks for popping out with short notice. I appreciate it. So, first, what's the name of your place in Winnetka?
It's called the Massage Therapy Center of Winnetka. I founded it in 1989, and I believe that I'm the second oldest massage clinic in the state. The oldest is down in Champaign and run by a good friend of mine named Doug Nelson, but anywhere in Chicago, I'm the oldest around.
Well, that's great. That's great. Now, massage therapy has become very popular recently, but when you started doing this, you did it for a number of sports teams. She's printed out some information on you, and the one that caught my eye is you were with the Chicago Sting. That was back in '84, but the White Sox in 2005, and the first name that comes to mind when I think of that team is the manager, Ozzie.
The hits come in bunch.
Was Ozzie a regular receiver of your massages, some of which put you in the Hall of Fame?
Well, Ozzie did frequent my table, and I loved working with Ozzie. There was never a dull moment. Always had a lot of fun with him.
Did he ever stop talking?
He talked constantly. So, yeah, he was always entertaining.
What kind of music did he want played during the massage?
So we kept the room silent during massage time at the ballpark.
Did you have any resistance from the trainer when you started with the White Sox, a more traditional trainer, athletic trainer, saying, look, we have a certain regimen here. We don't need massage therapy?
Well, that's very interesting, John. Herm Schneider brought me into the team. I got to know Hermie when I was with the Sting in the early 80s, and he would have me come into the ballpark on occasion way back then. And Herm was always very pro-massage. He understood massage therapy, but you're bringing up an important point because there's been a lot of resistance until more recent years, people understanding the value of sports massage. And, John, it is so vitally important. I can't even emphasize it enough. It's just as important as a team doctor, as the trainer, as the physical therapist, any part of the medical staff. And if you look at guys like LeBron James and Tom Brady, these guys are old men in their professions. They're still going strong. 45 years old, Brady was still winning Super Bowls, and both of these guys credited massage therapy as being an incredible, important part of their regimen.
I mean, those professional golfers that I admire, they carry trainers on the road with them, and a big part of their morning regimen is stretching and a massage. So when you were with the 2005 White Sox, I'm really focused on that team. I love that team. I picture Bobby Jenks as needing a lot of massages.
You know, it's funny. I didn't ever work with him, and again, part of it is massage was still at that time becoming what it is today, and guys, if they didn't understand the value, they wouldn't use it. So you have to really understand the importance of it to to use it, but I worked very closely with Frank Thomas. He was on my table before almost every game. I worked a lot with Jose Contreras, and Jose Contreras credited me for his whole season in a Tribune article that was written the first day of the World Series.
How about Konerko or AJ Przinsky?
Both of those guys also, they weren't users of it.
And after Joe Creedy ran into the wall, did he come to get a massage?
On occasion I would see Creedy, one of my favorite guys in the team, actually. What a great guy.
So I'm sorry, I didn't write it down the first time. What's the name of the business in Winnetka? Massage Therapy of Winnetka, right?
Massage Therapy Center Winnetka. Thank you. Yes.
And what's the website, John?
It's Massage Winnetka, and I also can I give a pitch for my new product? I have a new massage tool called Massage Therapy Hall of Fame Massage Tool, and it's available on Amazon. It's a self-care massage tool that anyone can use. Inexpensive, and it's an awesome, awesome product.
Okay. What's the name of that one more time?
It's called the Hall of Fame Massage Tool.
Well.
And, again, it's on Amazon and hopefully in lots of catalogs and stores soon.
Well, as I started to say, I don't think you heard me at that time. We weren't patched in together correctly, but my wife spends a lot of time in Winnetka, so do I. I drive through there regularly. I'll look you up because I'd like to take a few strokes off my golf swing, off my golf game.
Guess what? Your wife and yourself are welcome as my guest.
No. Unlike a lot of other people that work here, I don't take anything for free. So I'd be no problem with that. I'll be glad to stop by. I'd like to try it out.
Well, thank you, John.
Well, thank you. Thanks for popping on at short notice. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too, sir. Thanks again.
Take care.
You're listening to John Howell, Essential Cuts on 890 WLS.
Donald Trump is back up on Trump 1. Quick trip to D.C. today. I did see him speaking in the rain under an umbrella to the press, about 10 seconds worth. It just happened 30 seconds ago. I did not hear it. Perhaps our next guest will tell us what he said. ABC News correspondent in D.C., watching this develop all day long. Andy Field is here. Andy, did you catch what Trump just said to the press?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of that. Who said what to what press here?
Well, I'm watching literally as you are in my newsroom, in your newsroom. He just walked up the plane and he's taking off on his way back to New Jersey. And he said maybe 20 or 30 seconds, he said a little quick statement to the press. I don't have my monitors up in here. I can't hear the TVs. I just wondered if you were watching.
I doubt that. Well, I'm going to look at my email real quick, but I don't see anything. Let's see here. Did he say anything, Trump, on the plane? Nope. I'm sure the cameras recorded it, but I don't think that they were live that close to the plane. So
okay,
we'll probably have to wait for the tape to be fed back from it.
Well, give us an idea
of what happened in the court.
Yeah, I want to ask you. I want to ask you first. We'll get to the courtroom. What was the atmosphere like in the city overall today? Pretty buttoned down, security wise.
Yeah, only in that corner of the city. Washington D.C. is used to this kind of thing. So that little corner of the city is the foot of Capitol Hill. It's on the Senate side of the Capitol. If you were walking down the hill from the Capitol, not too far from where those riots were on January 6th, you basically hit the court. It is the first thing you see as you go down Constitution Avenue, and if you were heading and Pennsylvania Avenue, it's kind of at the intersection of Constitution and Pennsylvania. Keep going down Pennsylvania, you hit the White House a few blocks away. So it is literally the epicenter of what happened on January 6th and the main reason that Donald Trump is in a courtroom for the third time now.
So tell us what happened in the courtroom. What was the procedure?
Well, it's interesting. Donald Trump is not used to waiting for anyone or anything, and he was left sitting in that courtroom cooling his heels for 25 minutes waiting for the judge to walk into the court. Looked a bit tense, holding his hands together and not saying a whole lot. Interestingly enough, for the second time in these indictments, Jack Smith, the special counsel, was in the courtroom. He wasn't at the prosecutor's table, but he made sure that Donald Trump knew he was there, as he did in Miami. This is very unusual for a special prosecutor to show up in any of these cases. They usually let their deputies go and do the work there, but he felt this was as important as any case that's ever been tried here in the United States, and he wanted to make sure that Donald Trump saw him and knew that.
In Miami, much was said that Jack Smith basically just daggers on Trump the entire time. Did that happen today?
From the folks that were in the courtroom, basically he was looking fairly intently at the former president. We're told that Mr. Trump looked in his direction. We don't know if their eyes locked or if any steam came out of his ears in that direction. But certainly the former president could not be happy with the situation here, learning that he could spend upwards of more than 50 years in prison if he's convicted on all of these charges. And, of course, he had to say in court he is his age, which is 77. Much is made of Joe Biden's age, but former President Trump is literally just 3 years younger than Joe Biden.
So what is next? Now we're kind of in a holding pattern. Obviously, the judge that's been assigned this case, she wasn't there today. This is a different judge just kind of going through the procedural checklist. Now everybody cools their heels. I guess that Jack Smith is aiming for November or December. It's not likely that that's going to happen, is it?
No, and they also offered 3 dates this month to go back for his regular first hearing. The Trump team decided to pick the very latest date possible, which is August 28th, just a few days, by the way, after the first scheduled Republican debate for all the candidates, which Donald Trump, at least up until this point, has said he will not show up for. Look, Donald Trump is going to be shuffling from city to city to city on various court dates and charges. He's got a major case in New York City that's scheduled for sometime this winter. He's got that major case in Miami, which we're told is going to be scheduled for next May. We don't know when this is, but of course the Trump team, their primary objective here is to delay as long as they possibly can, with the hope that he would win the election and somehow end up pardoning himself or telling his Justice Department to throw this whole thing out.
America will decide these cases long before the juries do. Thank you very much, Andy. Appreciate it, sir. Talk to you again.
Thanks.
Take care. All right, 4:11 here at WDLS. I caught Bill Barr. I watch all these cable news networks, so you don't have to. You can thank me some other time. But Bill Barr was on Caitlin Collins last night. For some reason, Bill Barr does not make eye contact with the cable news hosts. I've noticed this 2 or 3 times. He either looks down or he looks away or off to the side. I find that somewhat hinky. Anyway, he was asked a couple questions that I'd like to play his responses. I think these are germane to this case in particular, if not the others in general, is as the Republicans are making a lot of this being a 2-tiered system. You know, one set of rules for Hunter and anybody on the blue side of the world, another set of rules for Trump and everybody on the red side of the world. So Bill Barr, Trump's former attorney general, who was fired/resigned, was asked, is the DOJ weaponizing the department by proceeding with this case? Here's Bill Barr.
As a legal matter, I don't see a problem with the indictment. I think that it's not an abuse. The Department of Justice is not acting to weaponize the department by proceeding against the president for a conspiracy to subvert the electoral process.
But what about Trump's First Amendment rights? He can say whatever he wants. It's not illegal to lie. So how are they bringing up these charges against him? Again, this is Bill Barr.
No, I really don't think that's a valid argument because, as the indictment says, they're not attacking his First Amendment right. He can say whatever he wants. He can even lie. He can even tell people that the election was stolen when he knew better. But that does not protect you from entering into a conspiracy. All conspiracies involve speech, and all fraud involves speech. So, free speech doesn't give you the right to engage in a fraudulent conspiracy.
Okay, and before we go to a traffic report, this is a quick turn of the audio. Thank you, guys. Cosette. Trump speaking on the tarmac in D.C. literally just about 10 minutes ago. It's about 45 seconds long.
It's a very sad day for America, and it was also very sad driving through Washington, D.C. and seeing the filth and the decay and all of the broken buildings and walls and the graffiti. This is not the place that I left. It's a very sad thing to see it. When you look at what's happening, this is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary and leading Biden by a lot. So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him. We can't let this happen in America. Thank you very much.
Well, it's happening. Good luck. Lots of illegal pie plates on sticks. That's Trump from just a few minutes ago in D.C.
This is John Howell Essential Cuts on 890 WLS.
My next guest is a returning guest. He's a former staff columnist and editorial writer for the Chicago Tribune. He's now syndicated. I read him in today's Chicago Tribune and thought, even though he's on vacation in beautiful Colorado, perhaps he'd pop on. When you talk to people on the red side of the world, they say, Bidenomics, we are definitely in a depression. We're going right into the abyss. Then you talk to the blue side of the world, and they say the economy is better than it's ever been. It has totally recovered and then some. I wonder who deserves the credit for our strong economy. Reading from Steve's column, and then we'll bring him on the program. America's economic past is littered with depressions and recessions which destroyed jobs, bankrupt businesses, spread misery. But one downturn that is not likely to make the history books, the anticipated recession of 2023. It's the one that was widely predicted, but has yet to happen and looks like it will never will. The U.S. economy over the past 3.5 years is a chronicle of surprising success. Presidents often have less effect on the economy than voters assume, but in this case, credit is due to Joe Biden and, surprise, Donald Trump. Let's start there. Mr. Chapman, welcome back. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm hanging in and hanging on with terrible traffic here with Lollapalooza. So how is it, and I read the column, I think it's spot on, how is it both Biden and Trump can take a little bit of credit for the fact that we did not go into a recession or worse and into the financial abyss?
Well, if you recall back during the first months of 2020 when the pandemic hit, there was a lot of economic shutdown. People were having to stay home. A lot of businesses were in great danger of going bankrupt. People weren't shopping, and Congress, with support from both parties, passed a $2 trillion stimulus bill to support businesses, to provide economic aid to families, and Trump signed it. And he supported it, and, it's easy to, I can remember a lot of things that Donald Trump did wrong, but on that one, he did what was necessary.
So inflation is down from 9.1% from last year. It was up over 9% from the previous 12 months. And this June, it's down from that to 3%. But a lot of people perceive that as still high. Why?
Well, I think it's because we've had inflation, so some prices are higher than they were before. So even though prices are not rising nearly as fast as they were, people remember what prices were, back 2 years ago, back during, when the pandemic was still depressing demand. So people sort of mistake kind of the price increases we got, a year or two ago for continuing inflation, when actually inflation has cooled off considerably.
Steve Chapman is here, former staff columnist, editorial writer for the Tribune, still published in the Tribune. Are Americans starting to believe the improvement is real, or only half of America?
No, I think they are. And I think, consumer confidence is better than it's been in a year, and it's better across the board, regardless of income level. People have been – there is a certain amount of pessimism. And I think that's because we've been hearing for so long that a recession was imminent, and we've been hearing for so long about how bad inflation is. And I think it takes a little while for good news to catch up with people's perceptions.
Well, the other problem is to admit that there's good news regarding the economy is to give credit to your political opponents.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's a shortcoming you get in both parties, I'm afraid.
Yep, that's for sure. How close do we come to the abyss, in your opinion and experts?
Well, it was the most severe contraction we've ever had since since the Great Depression. It was, practically overnight, the economy almost shut down, and that could have easily snowballed into a full-scale depression. And the reason it didn't is because Congress and the president poured stimulus into the economy to support demand, and the Federal Reserve opened up the money supply spigots. They cut interest rates to zero, and they did everything they could to make credit available to keep the economy from collapsing entirely. And after a couple of months, the economy came roaring back.
We
it took
also
a while to get back to where we were, but it rebounded much faster than anybody anticipated.
Inflation's down, jobs are they go wanting, unemployment is at record lows. So apparently, maybe the soft landing has been accomplished. Chairman Jerome Powell is basically vilified by both sides. Does that maybe say he's doing the right thing?
Yeah, I think so. He got a lot of grief the last couple of years, before the Fed started raising interest rates for his easy money policy, which was predicted, we would get runaway inflation. That didn't happen. We did get some inflation, but once the Fed started raising interest rates and cutting back on the money supply has contracted, fairly significantly. Prices started to cool off, and Elizabeth Warren, was hectoring Powell in a hearing a few months ago, saying, your only solution is raising interest rates and throwing millions of people out of work. Well, he did raise interest rates. Inflation did cool off, and job growth has continued at a very robust pace.
Steve Chapman, are you sad that you're out in beautiful Telluride, Colorado on vacation and you're going to miss Lollapalooza this year?
I've never been to Lollapalooza. Maybe this would have been the year I should go, but I'm kind of, if we're going to talk about music, I'm going to give a plug to the what the music fest I really like, which is the Fitzgerald's in Berwyn, has an Americana Music Fest every 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
And, it's a wonderful experience.
Did you go this year?
I was not able to go this year. Went last year.
When I used to live in the city,
on the previous years,
when I live in the city, I would get out to Berwyn quite often to Fitzgerald's. I saw so many great acts out there. It was just terrific. But now I live way up north in the northern suburbs, and to get to Berwyn and then, get home again after a long night at Fitzgerald's, it's just not a wise decision.
I feel your pain, John.
What was Fitzgerald's first name? He retired a couple years ago and sold out. I forgot, but man,
That I don't remember.
Yeah, but he started that club on a wing and a prayer years ago. I think 40 years ago or better, and kind of off the grid in Berwyn, and it turned out to be one of the best clubs in the nation for Americana and roots music.
I believe you, and of course, the new owners bought it right before the pandemic, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, they survived.
I'm really glad that they got through it.
I'm on their mailing list, and I went through it the other night, and I was asking my wife, I said, I'd like to go see this person. I'd like to go see this artist. And she's like, well, if we're going to do that, we're going to have to take a car there and, take a car home or stay in the city or do something of this nature. And she said, and we don't share musical taste. She said, I don't recognize one of those people that you want to go see.
Yeah, but she would like him if she heard him, I bet.
Enjoy Colorado. Thank you for popping on and being part of the program while you're on vacation, Steve.
Thank you for having me, John.
Take care. Read Steve Chapman in the Tribune or in any number of places, former staff columnist, editorial writer for our Tribune for many, many years.
You're listening to John Howell, Essential Cuts on 890 WLS.
Yesterday we had Lauren O'Neill, the heart and soul of Q101, our sister in sound, on the program. She was gracious with her time, and she has about 1 million listeners and about 10 million people following on social media. So I asked her about tomorrow's lineup at Lollapalooza. So for you or your kids or your grandkids, so you know what they'll be watching, who they'll be watching, I understand tomorrow, including an NBA legend. Here's an excerpt of our conversation with Lauren O'Neill. I mentioned to Lauren that I'm probably not going to make it to Lolla again this year.
I also want to point out, if you're not going to Lollapalooza, you can Couch-a-Palooza because they are streaming the festival on Hulu. So if you don't want to go to Grand Park and join me this year, John, You can watch it from your couch.
I'm watching The Bear on Hulu right now.
That's a great show.
Do you like that show?
I love that show. I'm done with the 2 seasons. I'm ready for the next one.
Does it make you want to go get a beef sandwich?
No.
Yeah.
It makes me never want to work in a kitchen, I'll be honest.
It looks like an angry place, doesn't it?
It's very stressful.
A lot of stress.
Okay.
All right, Friday's lineup.
Back to Friday's lineup. You got to start the day out early, and please go check out Sincere Engineer. It's Deanna. She's from Chicago. She takes the Bud Light stage at 1:15. Kafune is on the Bacardi stage at 2:50. Biba Doobie, 4 o'clock on the Tito's stage.
Biba Doobie?
No.
Biba Doobie?
I mean, people are going to do that there, yes. Let's be real.
It's legal now. Go ahead.
It's legal in Chicago. Of course, our favorite, the School of Rock, will be on the Kidsapalooza stage at 5:15.
That's a big deal for those kids.
It's a huge deal. They just opened up Picnic, our biggest show of the summer at Northerly Island, and they are just firing on all cylinders.
And if you've not seen the movie, go see the movie. Or get the movie, download it, take a look at it, whatever. Get it on a VHS and enjoy it.
Whenever people tell me that rock is dead or there's no future in rock and roll, take a look at these kids and then try to tell me that. All right, then you've got DJ Diesel, who Shaq is on the Perry stage at 6 o'clock. Foles, one of my absolute favorite bands. They are the jam. They're going to also be on the Tito stage at 6 o'clock, followed by Declan McKenna on the Bacardi stage at 6:30. 30 Seconds to Mars. You know Jared Leto, right?
Sure, of course I do.
His band is on the Bud Light stage at 7. Just played 2 of our after shows at the House of Blues. Absolutely just a show, huge show. And then you got the 1975 headlining or Kendrick Lamar. I also highly recommend Knocked Loose, which takes the Bacardi stage at 9 if you like heavier stuff.
Lauren, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Right up late said that back nine at Riverdale's really murder.
Of course. A real Lollapalooza.
This is John Howell Essential Cuts on 890 WLS.
Ladies, do you recognize that music?
Yeah.
Sophie's 11, Layla's 12. They've been besties since preschool. They just both attended Walt Disney, and they're on their way to Lollapalooza to see Billie Eilish tonight. Are you excited?
Yes.
How excited?
Yes. Oh, very excited.
Okay, Layla, this is your first Lolla.
Yes.
Sophie, because of connections to the radio station, how many times have you gone?
I don't know, but I'd say a lot of times.
How old are you?
11.
You've gone 10 times. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how excited are you to go with your bestie today down to Lolla?
I'm very excited. Like, this is my first time going with, like, a best friend, so it's, like, a new experience, and it'll be fun for me.
Will you two guys be on your own at any time tonight?
Probably not.
Probably
not, yeah.
That's good. In case your cell phones go dead and you become separated from Sophie's mother, do you know where to meet? Have you set up a meeting point?
Not yet, but we will.
Not yet.
Because cell phones sometimes get overwhelmed. You can't reach each other, get separated. You need to know a certain place to go at Lollapalooza.
For sure.
Yes.
Sometimes they get overheated as well.
Layla, as a representative with the Double Dale's Press Pass, are you attending all 4 days of Lolla?
No.
Layla at Lolla for 4 days?
No.
Okay. So how many days?
1 today.
Just today?
Yes, just
Sophie,
today.
how many days?
4 days.
Of course. So you do have the full boat Double Dale's Press Pass.
No.
Right?
Well, no.
No, tell us the truth.
I just have general access for 4 days.
Why does it say Double Dale's General Manager on your press pass?
It does?
Yeah, somewhere in there it does. Will you tell us how great the backstage areas are and the press center and how great their deli tray is this year in the open bar? Not that you're going to partake of that, obviously, but so this is old hat for you, right? You've been there 10 times with your mom.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But Layla, you're excited for your first Lolla?
Yes.
Okay, and when are you guys leaving right now?
No. In
5 o'clock?
By 5.
Okay. So you're going to see, are you moving stage to stage, or are you going right to Billie Eilish's stage and planting yourself there with great seats?
We are moving stage to stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much spending money do you have, ballpark?
I don't have any money right now, but she has like $50.
Well, Sophia, you have Double Dale's credit card, don't you?
No.
You have the corporate credit card. Sure you do. You don't have to hide that. Go ahead, have fun. Buy a lot of people a lot of things, okay?
Okay.
All right, good. Well, you have a great time.
Thanks.
I know as you've been there many times, but especially Layla, have a great time.
Thank you.
You're done with Walt Disney now. Where are you going next?
I'm going to Taft Academic Center.
What's your favorite academic pursuit? What do you like?
Most likely.
What do you like? Do you like math, science, English?
Oh, reading.
Reading, good for you.
Definitely not.
Good. How many hours a day do you spend on your phone or any other screen, ballpark?
Not much.
Well, the less you can, the better off you'll be, okay?
I don't know.
If you can find some quiet time once a day for maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, and read a book, you'll be blessed your entire life. Take it from me. Yes. Okay? Sophie, thanks for coming by. I see you often.
Yes.
Okay? Ring that credit card as high up tonight as you want. Okay? Just say, Uncle Marv will take care of it.
John. Okay.
Say, Uncle, this is Uncle Marv's card. He's going to take care of everything. Just you get whatever you want. Okay?
Okay.
And Layla, whatever you want, she'll take care of you. Okay?
John, if I may,
yes.
You should give them some spending money. Uncle John.
Well, I feel that'd be inappropriate. I don't want to step on Stephanie or Mars' toes with that.
Sure. I think that they're fine with it. I know you've got some cash. You certainly do.
I don't want to Bigfoot anybody. I don't want to take anybody out of there.
Can Cosette and I have any spending money?
No, you may not.
John Howell, Essential Cuts. Check back every weekday for another episode of John Howell, Essential Cuts on 890 WL.